Like it. I already sent you the response. If the mind chooses to change the position or doing meditation while sitting, it comes from Prarabdha and you made a choice. I'm also explaining what is Prarabdha, difference between the Prarabdha and you said Samskaras. So it is wonderful. And every time you check throughout the week that you sit down, it is coming naturally and it has nothing to do with the lotus pose. You are sitting in any posture and where the spine is relatively straight but not overstretched and and so yeah, there are a couple of postures, especially you sitting down, stretching the legs forward, legs are together, and you bend forward. There is a spine stretching pose, so you can stay there for a minute or so every day. Then you spread your legs straight and bend forward. That will also help you to sit in a lotus pose. And then bring the legs together and bend one leg, put the heel on the inner thigh of the other one, and then bend forward for a minute or so on each side. So that will also help you to gradually open up that the hip joints by which you can sit in lotus pose. But you are doing the sitting pose, you are doing cross leg position, and spine is not overstretched but comfortable. That sitting pose will go a long way. One thing that has also helped you to decrease the sleeping hours, you will find out. So it's a beautiful. Another point that you said, the mind is less wandering. So the mind is less wandering because the mind is changing the direction. It is moving inside and you are on a right track. Definitely, you wrote anything? Yes, it's a good. You just open up the audio file, you are listening and you are engaged in meditation. So it will help your mind to move in a right direction. Yes, I already answered you that you forget means ignorance. It is caused by the default setting of the mind, and the default setting has two elements. One is Prarabdha and other is the Samskaras. Think. Think that you have $1 million in your bank account and the portion of which is used currently. Similarly, the prarabdha is the accumulated karma or impressions of many lives. Many lives. So, out of which a portion is used in the current life. Can I choose that portion? No. You cannot choose that portion. It comes from the day you are born. That portion of the accumulated karma, accumulated impressions, helping you to exhaust in this very life. To give you an example, simple example. You approached me because of prarabdha. Because of your mind has those impressions to follow the Eastern wisdom. Because you are searching the real self, that is belonging to the prarabdha. I said $1 million, portion of which is used in a current life. So you have all accumulated impressions, which is known as the Sanchit Karma or Prarabdha, out of which a portion has been chosen by the existence to give you the birth in a particular family with specific parents, with specific attitude. It's deeper than the DNA. Now we say the DNA has everything in that. So it contains, it's a holistic approach. So that present circumstances, situation, behavior and attitude coming from that prarabdha. Understand totally in a little different way. Think of as an arrow of a bow that has already been released from a bow. It is in a flight and its trajectory is fixed. That is how this prarabdha works. An individual cannot recall the arrow. You cannot retrieve the arrow. But they have the free will. You have the free will to choose how to respond where it lands. For example, that is what you have been doing. It is worth understanding. You asked a beautiful question. You find lot of challenges. To meet those challenges, you had a choice either to go to a modern science to start taking those pills, or you have chosen me to follow the Eastern wisdom. So you had the choice. That problem and challenges came from the prarabdha. That is what the prarabdha is. So what is prarabdha? Basically, all those impressions are already fixed because it borrowed from the previous life. It is unchangeable. Like we say in DNA, you have inherited diabetes, obviously. So you have to guard yourself. So if you make a right choice in your life, if it is diabetic is genetic, what we say, type 1? Yes, type 1. So if you make the lifestyle modifications, obviously you can take care of it. But if you don't take care, prarabdha allows you to suffer from the same diabetes. So at the physical level, but prarabdha is more at the mental, emotional level. Mental and emotional level. So one thing, it is fixed and unchangeable, means they have to come and I have to make a right choice. They will fruiten in my life, but I have to make a right choice. The moment you make a right choice based on the Eastern wisdom, you are evolving. Another way to understand this prarabdha is very wonderful concept that the situation I'm living now, the situation, everything that includes house and the kids and the children, my teaching profession, etc., etc., it is from the prarabdha. It is already destined. But I made a choice to give it a direction, to start coaching, to start guiding people, which I did it almost, I made a decision almost 40 years ago, and I continued teaching. So I have my students who contact me, who met me 20 or 30 years ago. So it means prarabdha has a role and I made the right choice. Prarabdha created that situation, external manifestation, and I grabbed that opportunity. Did you understand? Little bit. You met me because of prarabdha, but you made a choice that let me evolve. Why you only contacted me? You should have contacted many other people. That is the prarabdha. And what decision you made? No, I have to meet these challenges. Please guide me. Because of the prarabdha, we both are men. Because of the prarabdha, you choose a particular profession. And once you chose that profession, you want to excel in that profession. That is your choice. In every situation, in every event, in every. So it's basically what we say destiny and the fate. But why the current impressions, the select impressions are chosen from the prarabdha in this current life to be exhausted? Why? It will create further impressions. But if I remove all those impressions, I live an enlightened and awakened life. There will be no more birth. Or, if there is a birth, I can choose it. I can choose it. You are full of anger and hesitation inside, maybe because of some relations and near and dear one, and then you become aware of that prarabdha and you choose not to be angry and agitated. You want to respond in calmness and peace. Prarabdha and made a choice. That happens every moment in your life. That happens every moment in my life. In everyone's life. Why a person suddenly upset and surges into anger and hesitation because of the prarabdha, but they don't make a choice. Let us calm down. Let us make a choice. Let us understand. So I move from the default to the discerning mind. So I gave a direction to my anger and hesitation by being calm, making a right choice. I'm evolving. Yeah, we will talk in detail. The Tattva Bodha, this text gives you a very fine understanding of this Prarabdha. Now, Samskara. Samskara, Sanskrit word which means the impressions of the karma. You went to a restaurant, you eat pasta, you are happy, pleasure is done, you return home, you forget it. But its impressions is already created in the mind. You looked at a girl and internally you may have some sensuality, and after that you forget it, but the impression remains. Impression is already there. So it is basically the mental impressions left by every thought, every speech, every action. What I'm speaking to you now, it is already creating an impression in my mind and it will be accumulated. So when it is accumulated, it moves down into at the unconscious level. Okay, it moves it. Then what happens at the unconscious level? Oh, that unconscious imprints that form my character, my attitude, predispositions, my behavioral tendencies. The way I respond to your question, yeah, it comes from my predispositions and behavioral tendencies. So why? Because I worked on that. A teacher in the Eastern wisdom should always follow first peace within, happiness within, love within, and it should care everyone who approaches me. So I have reset that behavioral pattern because of the sanskara. So today's your behavior, your attitude is coming from the past impression. Now we have to relate it. A prarabdha is set of circumstances you are born into. Sanskaras are the internal programming or mental habits that influence how you think, speak, and act in the world. What I said? Let us go into a little comparison. Prarabdha means the portion of the karma or impressions that is actively manifesting in this life. Portion, not everything. And what about the sanskaras? It is a psychological impressions left by the karma. How dare you say me? Well, I'm excited, I'm agitation. So this expression is coming from sanskaras. But the portion of that karma is the prarabdha. So there are two things. My expression and the origin. Origin is prarabdha, expression is sanskara. Why I am excited and why? Maybe because my mind has created lot of impressions by looking at you, talking to you. My mind says you don't understand. Example, so then I have to be forceful. It's a psychological impression, but that karma comes from the prarabdha. Another difference. Prarabdha manifest as external circumstances and life events. Sanskara resides in the subtle body, means mind, and the subconscious mind. Prarabdha. Prarabdha dictates the fixed circumstances but not one's response. Very important. It has put you in a problem. You have a choice to react or respond. Circumstances, events, relationship, prarabdha. Choice, response or react. Response and react, there comes your personal attitude and behavior. It is shaped by your sanskaras. Prarabdha considered as fixed and must be experienced. I have to experience. What I have to experience, I got into anger and hesitation. Now I recognize that this is not fair, but the impact of that is already into my body. So what is the choice? Let me endure it. Let me not create further reaction. So if I don't create further reaction, that is a matter of choice. So I endure it. The next time, this anger and reaction will weaken. I change my personality. Prarabdha, anger come. Choice, I made. Sanskaras. I can alter my habits, I can alter my impressions. If the impression is there, oh, my body and mind is tuned to have more sleep and sleepiness and laziness, I can change it. These are impressions. My mind is distracted, I can bring it to focus. Impressions. But the real life situation is coming from the prarabdha. What is real life situation? You go to your college and you meet someone, and then you are into that situation. Prarabdha. impressions, you change the impressions, you can make a choice. Once you understand this nitty and gritty of these two, it will take you to a very deeper level. The poise method is the beginning. Poise method is just the beginning. And once we understand, once we go to this topic in detail, because before that we have to understand a couple of more topics that is covered in this text. So, because we are exploring by poise method, we are exploring and bringing on the surface many challenges that we are facing, and that is helping you. I'm so happy you started doing a practice while sitting. Good. Yeah? You had less distractions. That is recognition. You recognize. I have not to fall back into the distraction. I have to come back. I have not to fall back into the laziness. I have to return. It means the poise method is really working. Only thing, by repeat practice, definitely with awareness, it is going to help you a great deal. And I created this poise method for you. I was thinking and contemplating and reflecting. Now I can use this poise method for others also. It is like having a treasure chest of gold in your basement while searching desperately for coins in the street. It also comes by Prarabdha. You made a choice. Choice is poise. The poise method helps you to remember and access the treasure you already possess. I'm trying to give you a couple of metaphors to make you understand. So the poise framework addresses our suffering. The suffering is internal. Situation is external. Situation, event, conditions are external. My mind gives a wrong interpretation because of the prarabdha, and I use my psychological impressions to address that. Master says, no, address the way we tell you. Address the way by the poise method. That is what is happening. You don't notice it, but I can notice there is an internal transformation is happening. So what is happening? Attachment to external circumstances for happiness is going down. External circumstances, so lying down and practicing meditation, sitting down and practicing meditation. So attachment to very subtle form, identification with temporary thoughts and emotions. Temporary thought. You want to pray? No, I want to pray. Let me practice meditation. Mind says, let me lie down. It is a temporary thought. Let me sit and practice meditation. It's very subtle. It is happening. But if you continue on this path of journey, transformation will be noticed by you. Loss of connection to our true and peaceful nature. That is why I am practicing meditation. If you have that thought, that intention, life is going to change. Poise is an inner compass. I told you, presence, awareness. Where is this awareness? I notice I am speaking to you. At the same time, I also notice if any thought, feeling, and emotions are passing into my mind. No, it's not passing. It is focused on you. Presence. Presence. So I notice thoughts, feeling, and emotions. The moment I notice and I just observe, it becomes simultaneously. It is not sequentially because we have to teach sequentially. Do you understand? Sequence and all together. The moment you notice your thought, feeling, and emotions, you have already become an observer. You have moved to the oh. So I put a thought. I said, okay, I'm an observer. I'm watching a thought of anxiety, watching a thought of laziness, watching a thought of sleepiness. But I'm not anxiety. Why? It is only a thought. That is the true observer. It is simultaneous. Why it is simultaneous? I investigate the flow, witness. It is simultaneous. Why it is simultaneous? Now you recognize one is the observer and the other are the thoughts coming and going. Simultaneous, POI. But if two things are separate, there is always a space. I was telling just in the morning session to this 90-year-old woman that how deeply you hug, two people hug, or the partners hug, there is always a distance. That is why they are known as partners. So, unconsciously, when we are suffering, when we are lazy, when we have forgetfulness, when we are in ignorance, we find as if the thought is me and I am the thought. And that you begin with the P, you become the observer, you investigate, you recognize there is a space, and the E also comes naturally. Om Shanti is there. You embody the peace. So it is simultaneous. But any practice given has to be sequential, step by step. So at the external level, I just made this step to facilitate clear and deeper understanding. But the fact is, it is just living in the present moment in that state of the peace and happiness. Now, how can you explain that peace and happiness is there? The birds are flying in the sky. What I said? Birds are flying in the sky. What are the two objects? Bird and the sky. Does the sky change when the birds are flying? If there is no bird, does the sky change? That is E, embody the peace. It means the peace is already within us. In the morning you have a traffic jam. Is a highway change? In the midnight there is no traffic. Everything, there's a highway change. But the mind is deluded. What we say? Oh, there is too much of traffic on that highway. Let us take another way. But the highway does not change. Distance, highway, traffic. Two things. There is a high tide, waves rise in the fall. Does water change? Water does not change. Same way, all thought, feeling, emotions that appears in the mind Now don't forget that. Remember this. Repeat this. If I say all the birds moving occurs on the sky, but the sky does not change. All the traffic occurs on the highway. Highway does not change. High rise tide in the waves occurs in the ocean. Water does not change. All the thought, feeling, and emotions, good, bad, high, low, occurs on the consciousness. Consciousness does not change. Are you clear? Consciousness does not change. So it means we are exploring which is already present in us. That is why we say it is a self-discovery. Just close your eyes. We'll have one more session before we move to another topic. So your eyes are closed, you are sitting. These are the preparation, or you can say place, position, and the posture. Feel it. I would say feel it, know it, experience it, whatever you want to say or understand. Please feel the place of the body, and it is good to spend a little more time. Place of the body. Place of the body means place of the body. How do you know? How do you know? You know by feeling, or you can say awareness, or knowing. Yes, yes, you know, you feel. That's good. Position of the body, you know, you feel, you experience. Posture, you know, you feel, and you experience. This step is very important. Anytime and every time you sit for any meditation, this, just remember, I made it very simple to remember. I have to practice meditation. Why only meditation? Why only meditation? During learning anything, during a class, in the class, talking to someone, you know, feel, and experience place, position, and the posture of the body. In the beginning, it may look little typical, but gradually, why I say so, your mind becomes aware. We need to do that. And now we will come to awareness or presence. What is presence? Presence is awareness. So what awareness has to do? It is awareness of the default mind versus discerning mind. Oh, you add something more? Yes. So what is that? I notice. What I notice? Thoughts are there, feeling is there, emotion is there, I just observe. So I observe, I already moved to the discerning mind. Presence means what is going on in the mind. So what will go into the mind? Thought, feeling, emotion, sensation. So what I'm doing, I'm not doing anything, I'm just observing. What is observing? It's a feeling, it's knowing, not doing anything. In the state of, what I said, in the state of, do you remember, recall, place, position, and posture? So I keep as a tagline to the mind. Mind, are you aware of the place, position, and posture? Yes. In in that state, in the mind, thought, feeling, and emotion occurs. Like the traffic on the highway, I told you that you can do the practice even with during the day. You can do the practice with eyes open, like the traffic on the highway, like like the birds flying in the sky. So you are watching the birds are like thoughts, feeling, and emotion. Once you progress into that and you make this wise method your practice, our journey will become faster. But don't hurry, don't press, be casual, be natural. So the presence means, I said, like the birds flying in the sky, I'm present, I'm looking, feeling, and knowing. Same thing like the waves in an ocean. So in the background there is a self-awareness. That awareness knows you just watch, observe, feel and know. I'm giving you many names of the presence. You notice, that is also good. You know, knowing is also noticing. Observe, that is also you are knowing. Many names of the presence is one thing. Second thing, what do you notice? Thought, feeling, emotions, they are coming, going, they are coming, okay, they are the content of the mind. We are just aware of. So now you notice, you know, you feel, but you don't create, you don't ask the mind to pass on the judgment. You don't ask mind to judge. Why? When you judge, then what happens? The likes and dislikes from the past impressions will will take over your mind and you will miss the practice. Just see, I added this point today. You will miss the practice. Presence is just no feel. That is all. So it means just watching, observing, feeling, knowing. What do you know? The content of the sky. What is the content of the sky? There are few clouds on the right side, birds are flying in the middle, the dark clouds on the left. That is all. No preference. Same way. Some thoughts are there, some feeling is there, some emotions is there. Thoughts, feeling and sensation. Well, now, the moment you notice, you feel, you know, basically you are already in the background, you are an observer. When I say you notice, you observe, you are already an observer. I know it's damn difficult to put these higher practices into a sequential manner, but that is the beauty of the Eastern wisdom. Every teacher makes it customized and personalized. So, observer. Oh, yes, I notice, so I become aware. So, I move into the second step. You can also use the word recognition. I recognize. What is this recognition? This is discernment. That is what we are going to study and understand in this Tattva Bodha. I'm still using the same text in a different way. Oh, I recognize. Recognize, who recognizes? Intellect. Recognition by intellect. Recognition by intellect is the discernment. What is that discernment? Means separation. What is that separation? I observe the thought, feeling, and emotions are moving on. I observe the birds are flying in the sky. I observe the traffic is moving on the highway. On the highway, in the sky, in the water, means there are two things I recognize. Why I recognize there are two things. One is the observer. Where the observer, so observer is separate. Is the highway separate from the traffic? Yes. Is the sky separate from the birds flying? Yes. Now one bird is a thought, and that thought says I am into anxiety. It is a thought. There is no I am. Oh, there is no I am. What did you say? I am upset. This is a thought. What is the recognition? It is a thought of anxiety, it is a thought of laziness, it is a thought of. Oh, so observer is already present behind it is recognizing, yes. You have not to fight with the thought. You have not to claim that you are upset. You have not to claim that you are feeling sleepy. You have not to claim. You claim because of the thought association. I already told you, sky is separate from the bird. The bird is saying, I'm upset, I'm feeling lazy. Sky is not. Sky does not change. Observer. Observer. My goodness, it is so simple. So that observer, you see the third step enters naturally. What did I say? The observer. I am the observer. Sky is an observer. Birds are flying. Same way. I am an observer, and thought of anxiety, thought of upset, thought of laziness, thought of pleasure, thought, etc., they are moving like the birds. Oh, so I already moved into the third step of witnessing. You can use the way I'm guiding you, you can use the same thought. No worries, forget about that meditation. People have a wrong perception that meditation where no thought is there. If no thought is there, you are dead. Dead body doesn't have a thought. You have a thought, but you know you are totally independent, separate from this birds flying in the sky. Again, I'm reminded. So, I word we use or witness is investigate the flow. What is investigation? You witness. You investigate unbiased. So what you are investigating, what did you find? This thought has come, thought has stayed, thought has gone. I am upset. You have a smile on your internal smile. You say, okay, this is the thought of upset. Let me remain an observer. You move to the third step, you investigate, and that thought of anxiety thought of upset has already gone. Even if it stays, then what? Even if the part of the bird, even if the bird stays, then what? Does anything happen to the sky? You already said no. So does anything happen to the observer? No. Who is an observer? You. That is the investigate. You investigate the flow. So from the first step of the presence, that means the self-awareness is maintained. Instead of a lack of thinking, it is a conscious thinking. From the so-called the first step, what I said, presence. Presence is awareness, and I told you awareness is notice. I can say no, feel, experience, what? The content of the mind. Content of the mind, of the highway, if I use the word, of the sky, of the water. Just to make it easy. The moment you feel the presence, how? How you feel the presence? There is an observer, and the contents means sky and the birds. I say traffic and the highway. We know highway never meets and merges with any traffic. Why don't we ask the mind to remember thoughts cannot meet, merges with the observer. So O has already been, you enter into the, oh, then you already started, investigation, POI. Investigation means witness, means what? Recognition, means what? You know. Observer and what you observe are different. Anytime, anywhere. Anytime, anywhere. No situation, event can push you to stress or suffering or anxiety or upset. No one, you already know it is separate. Investigate, so when you investigate this. Okay, the moment you have investigation, you recognize. I told you what is the recognition that sky is different. The moment you recognize, you witness. What you witness? Sky is separate from birds. So why this happens? Separation is because of the space. Oh yes. If there is no space, how can I find? So that is S. And the moment you have the S, you drop in today's or in the practice just Om Shanti. So Om Shanti is a mantra, but it is a thought also. Om Shanti simply means I am the peace. So what happens? That space is made of peace and happiness. Why don't I experience now? Because there are many subtle areas of impurities, but we find the change. But how do you know that there are many areas of impurities? No worries. Check yourself. Check there is a space and drop mentally Shanti. You will find out while dropping the mantra in the middle, either you forget and then you recall and then you start repeating, or some thought takes you away. You don't recognize it. You don't recognize it. Are they impurities? Yes. We have to be. We are extremely alert. One great master, J. Krishnamurti, what a great master. He was in US for many years, in the 80s and 90s. He used to start defining meditation, extraordinary awareness. Oh, so P is the presence and you said awareness. Yes, it is extraordinary awareness where I perceive, now I'm using my own expression, where I perceive sky and the birds are separate, and I have nothing to do with any kind of the thoughts, and that space manifests into the peace and the joy. So the distraction is helping me. Distraction is helping us to move deeper. Let us take that. So don't be worried about any. Oh, distraction is there. Where I was? Oh, I don't know. So let me return to their presence, observer, in witness, and space function. Oh, if there is, then return to P O I S E. E is Om Shanti. Casually, without any effort, without getting worried that there is a distraction which is not good for me. Distraction? Worry, don't worry. Beyond the noise of the mind, you know where you have to drop yourself by E, embody. What? Yes, my friend. Prarabdha is mental DNA, not the physical one. The last series of those impressions, Prarabdha also helps. Prarabdha also poses a threat. Prarabdha of two types, good and bad. So sometimes you feel sleepy and lost. No worries. You, thank you, Prarabdha. I will make a right choice. Next time when I do it. When I will repeat it, let me repeat it again. Just your driving Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. But make sure that you see the space. Then you drop Om Shanti. Om Shanti drops, and you are we are approaching near to the Mangalacharan. You see that Mangalacharan is a set of lines where we continuously contemplate and reflect. We used that in this poise method with Om Shanti because the mind has to be tuned with that, and when the mind is tuned, we can go for the mantra. We tune the mind by poise so we can move to Mangalacharan mantra, and that will begin the very first verse of that Prabhu. And once you reach to the fifth step, don't stop there. Keep half an hour window open. Means your mind should not have any agenda after the completion. So that see that if the mind naturally stays there, oh, you are succeeding. You can help the mind moving deeper. Last point in understanding Prarabdha and Samskaras can help or destroy your meditation. So by repeat practice, by contemplation and reflection, what you are doing, you are making a choice and you are changing behavior and attitude coming from the past impressions. It may take some time, but gradually you will find out that it is changing and it is happening. You can also chant mentally Shanti 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 Om Shanti Shanti